Thank you. Please take a seat. Reading the list of this organization and individuals with us this evening, I want to say what a great honor it is for me to be with you this evening. I know of your hard work and dedication. I know how much you have sacrificed in standing for your principles and benefits. I know how much courage it takes to speak out, to protest, and to carry the banner of this most noble human aspiration, world peace. And so most of all, I'm here tonight to thank you for your such a strong commitment and your courage and your leadership. Let me begin by saying how humbling it is for me to speak to you in this very famous place, Riverside Church. I know that it was here that Martin Luther King Jr. spoke against the war in Vietnam. I know that Nelson Mandela spoke here on his first visit to the United States after he was freed from the prison. Standing with you, looking out, I can see what they saw. A sea of committed women and men who come from all corners of the world to move this world. It reminds us that of what matters most in life is not so much the message from the bully pulpit, but rather the movement from the pews, from people like you. And so I say, keep it up. Our shared vision is within reach. That is a world free of nuclear weapons. On the eve of the nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty Review Conference, beginning on Monday, we know the world is watching. Let it heed our call. Disarm, disarm now. Ladies and gentlemen, from my first day in office as a Secretary General of the United Nations, I made clear that nuclear disarmament is my top priority. Perhaps in part, this deep personal commitment comes from my own experience as a small boy in Korea, growing up immediately after the Korean War. My school was rubble, there was no walls, and I studied on the dirt. We studied in the open air. The United Nations rebuilt my country, and I was lucky enough to receive a good education. But more than that, I learned about peace, solidarity, and above all, the power of community action. These values are not abstract principles to me. I owe my life to them. I try to embody them in all my work. Just a few weeks ago, I traveled to Ground Zero, the former site at Semipalatinsk in Kazakhstan. That was the notorious nuclear test site during the time of Soviet Union. They detonated more than 450 nuclear weapons in Semipalatinsk. It was strangely beautiful. The great green steppe reached us as far as the eye could see. But of course, the eyes does not immediately see the scope of the devastation. Vast areas where people still cannot live, cannot go. Poisoned lakes and rivers, high rates of cancer, and birth defects. After independence in 1991, President Nazarbayev of Kazakhstan, he closed the site and banished whole nuclear weapons from its territory. Today, Semipalatinsk is a powerful symbol of hope. It is a new ground zero for disarmament, the birthplace of the Central Asian nuclear weapons free zone. In August, I will travel to another ground zero. May Allah give us a proud city of Hiroshima. And there, I will repeat our call for a nuclear-free world. The people of Hiroshima and people of Nagasaki, and especially the Hibakusha, know too well the horror of nuclear war. It must never be repeated. Yet 65 years later, the world still lives under nuclear shadow. How long? How long? Must we wait to rid ourselves from these nuclear weapons? How long will we keep passing these problems to our succeeding generations? We here tonight know that it is time to end this senseless cycle. We know that nuclear disarmament is not a distant, unattainable goal. It is a dream which we can achieve. It is an urgent necessity. Here and now, we are determined to achieve it. In fact, we have come very close in the past. 24 years ago, in Reykjavik, Iceland, President Ronald Reagan and General Secretary Mikhail Gorbachev came within a hair's breadth of agreeing to eliminate all nuclear weapons. It was a dramatic reminder of how far we can go as long as we have a vision and the will, the political will. Today's generation of nuclear negotiators must take a lesson from Reykjavik. Be bold, think big, for it yields big results. And that is why, again, we need people like you, people who understand that the world is overarmed and that peace is underfunded. People who understand people like you who understand that the time for change is now. Ladies and gentlemen, the NPT entered into force 40 years ago. Ever since, it has been the foundation of the non-proliferation regime and our effort for nuclear disarmament. To quote you, Mr. Gerson, it is one of the seminal agreements of the 20th century. Let's not forget, in 1963, some experts predicted that there could be as many as 25 nuclear weapon states by this time, by the end of the last century. It did not happen, in large part because the NPT guided the world toward the right direction. Today, we have a reason for renewed optimism. Global public opinion is swinging our way. Governments are looking at the issue with fresh eyes. Consider just the most recent, very positive development of situations. Leading by example, the United States announced a review of its nuclear posture, forswearing the use of nuclear weapons against non-nuclear states so long as they are in compliance with the NPT. In Prague, President Obama and President Medvedev, they have signed a successor regime to START treaty, accompanied by serious cuts in nuclear arsenal. In Washington, just 2 weeks ago, the leaders of 47 nations united in their efforts to keep nuclear weapons and materials out of the hands of terrorists. I myself was there as representative of the United Nations. And on Monday, coming Monday, we hope to open a new chapter in the life of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. In 2005, when leaders gathered for the last review of the NPT, the outcome did not match the expectations. In plain English, it failed utterly. We cannot afford to fail again. Failure is not an option. After all, there are still more than 25,000 nuclear weapons in the world's arsenals. Nuclear terrorism remains a real and present danger. There has been no progress in establishing nuclear weapons-free zone in the Middle East. The nuclear program of Iran and North Korea are of a serious concern to global efforts to curb nuclear proliferation. To deal with these and other issues, I have set out my own 5 action plans, and I thank you for your encouraging response. I especially welcome your support for the idea of concluding a nuclear weapon convention. Article 6 of the NPT requires the parties to pursue negotiations on a treaty on general and complete disarmament under international control. These negotiations are long overdue. Next week, I will call on all countries, and most particularly the nuclear weapon states, to fulfill this obligation. Ladies and gentlemen, we should not have unrealistic expectations for the conference, but neither can we afford to lower our sights. What I see on the horizon is a world free of nuclear weapons. What I see before me are the people who will help make it happen like yourselves. Please keep up your good work. Sound the alarm. Keep up the pressure. Ask your leaders what they are doing personally to eliminate the nuclear menace. Above all, continue to be the voice of conscience. We will rid the world of nuclear weapons. And when we do, it will be because of people like you. The world owes you its gratitude. Thank you very much for your commitment and leadership. Thank you.